What environment does an entitled parent thrive the most? That's right, a retail store. Get ready for some fantastic tales from retail. This woman works at a bath bomb store and likes to demonstrate the products for kids. Unfortunately, this entitled boy isn't impressed, and the mother isn't either. And of course, this leads to her making some pretty crazy demands. When a man comes into a university bookstore looking for sports team branded t-shirts, the cashier tries to help, but he makes an absurd request that the cashier can't help him with. This woman is on the store's blacklist, but this employee is new and doesn't realize it. What con is she trying to pull? You'll only find out on this episode of VoiceyHere's Tales from Retail. This story was called Demon Mother Think Her and Her Son Are Above the Rules and ends up ruining other kids' fun. So I work in a store which sells bath bombs, along with a lot of other things. We often demonstrate the bath bombs in our sinks, especially for kids, and they always love it. The rule is that it's one bath bomb demo per customer or group of customers. We only have 2 sinks, and on this particular day, we'd just done a demonstration in one of them. There were a bunch of little kids crowded around and watching it fizz and change colors, light and dark pink. A little boy, about 6 or 7, and his mum enter the store. Immediately, this kid rushes over to look at the bath bomb and announces very loudly that he hates pink and that the bath bomb is bad. I try to be nice and pull out our little basket with wasted off bath bombs. Usually we use chipped or damaged ones that we couldn't sell anyway. I tell him to choose a color that he'd like better, but then the mum criticizes me for trying to sell her son damaged goods. I explain that this is just for a demo and a chip out of the bath bomb isn't going to affect the way it looks in the water. But the mum isn't having any of that. It's not worth fighting over. We have a budget for it in case people want to see a specific bath bomb that hasn't been wasted off. So I tell him to choose a pristine one from the shelf. I also tell him to pick carefully because he only gets one. He chooses a bath bomb which smells nice, but just turns a soft white in the water. So I suggest that maybe he choose a more colourful and fun one and explain that this one isn't very impressive. He glares at me and shrieks, "No!" very, very loudly. I'm kind of flustered. The other kids near the sink were all staring and a lot of adults in the store had turned around, so I just let him put it in the free sink without trying to persuade him out of it. As expected, the water just goes white and the kid is not happy. He starts yelling that it's boring and his mother demands he be allowed to put another one in. I explain that we only have 2 sinks and now they're both full. Also, I tell her that each kid is only allowed 1 so that the most people possible get a chance to see them. She ignores me and tells her son to go get another one off the shelf. I tell her again that I'm sorry, but he won't be allowed to put another one in. She tells me that I'm being stingy, and at this point, the boy is running up and down the rows of bath bombs, trying to choose one. One of my supervisors comes over and repeats exactly what I've told her. And the mum says that it's my fault for not telling her son that the white one wouldn't be suitable, despite me telling him exactly that a minute earlier. At this point, the kid comes running back with a blue bath bomb, and my supervisor tells him sternly that he can't put it in the sink. The now clearly demonic mother accuses my supervisor of taking a tone with my son, and demands that she sees the manager. Normally, we have pretty reasonable people in our store, and a request and behavior like this is very rare, so my supervisor just awkwardly walks away to get our manager from the office. The mum gives me the most poisonous look I've ever gotten from a customer, turns to her son and tells him to put it in the sink. I instantly tell him that he's not allowed to, but this kid just yeets the bath bomb into the already used sink before I can stop him. Bath bombs are meant to be placed in the bath gently, so when he hurls it, water goes absolutely everywhere, including over the other children standing at the sink next to it. Understandably, they all start screaming for their parents, and so I begin grabbing paper towels to help them get the water off their faces and clothes. I'm furious with the mother, but I can't pay attention to her as I, along with their shocked parents, are trying to console the other kids. And as we're drying them off, I hear the absolute demon lady say, "Oh, well, that's not very impressive either, is it?" I've never wanted to physically fight a customer before, but wow, I got close then. The entire debacle ended up with my manager getting into an argument with the mother over making her pay for the second bath bomb. My manager eventually won by telling her that if she didn't pay, the shopping center security would have to be called. The parents of the kids who were splashed were very understanding and non-demonic. The worst two combinations, having to work in retail and dealing with an entitled parent. For me, the most painful part of this story is the fact that he told the kid, "Hey kid, listen, the white one's not going to be very interesting, choose another one," and then he still gets blamed for it. I think for me at that point, I would have lost my mind. Because not only are they entitled and demanding, but they just won't listen. I'm sure there are people who come into a retail store and they make some sort of demand, and then once you explain something to them, they understand and they give up or they just relax a little bit. But for people like this, who just keep going and then blame you, it's people exactly like this that I hated working in retail. This story was called Customer Sends Her Groundskeeper to Buy 4XL and 5XL Shirts, Becomes Furious When We Don't Carry Them. I worked at my university's bookstore for 2 years as a register monkey. I say register monkey because cashier didn't cut it. We had to do anything our team leaders told us to do, like trained monkeys. Our bookstore was about 30% textbooks and 70% anything we could put our logo or school name on and sell for a 200% markup. So one slow summer day, I'm sitting and talking with the other monkeys when an old man walks into the store. He looks to be about 80 years old. His back is bent and he can't stand up straight. And he's got a little crumpled piece of paper that he apparently tore out of one of those pocket notebooks held up to his face so he can read what he scrawled there. He starts looking in our apparel section and I leave him be. No one wants someone bugging them right when they start looking. But I note that he doesn't seem to be finding what he's looking for. He looks for about 10 minutes before my handler tells me to go help him out. The following conversation takes place between me and the old man. "Can I help you find something, sir?" "Oh yes, thank you, son. I have these shirts I'm looking for." He fishes out the crumpled piece of paper. He then lists 6 or 7 types of shirts, complete with SKUs from our website. "And for each of those, I need one in a 4XL and one in a 5XL. "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I don't think we carry in those sizes." "Well, could you at least take a look?" "Of course. Give me a few minutes to check the stockroom." So I head into the stockroom, knowing darn well that the largest size we carry is 3XL, and not many of those to boot. I actually do check, and sure enough, no 4 or 5XL. I walk back out to the sales floor and see the old man on his cell phone, almost like a cartoon. I can hear this high-pitched voice talking loudly, even from about 15 feet away as I walk up to him. He excuses himself without hanging up and asks me if I found them. "No sir, I was right. We don't carry anything that size." "I'm sorry, can I help you find anything else?" "Well, I've got my boss on the phone." He sheepishly gestures with his phone. "And she's a bit upset that you don't carry the shirts. Could you explain to her?" Sure." He hands me the phone and I try to greet the woman on the other end, henceforth referred to as Cranky Fat B. But she cuts me off before I can get 2 words out.
"Alright, I'm gonna take this very slowly so you understand what I'm looking for. I need these shirts."
She lists the SKUs painfully slowly, asking,
"Did you understand that?"
snootily each time.
"Now, do you think you could go get those for me?"
"Yes ma'am, he told me what shirts you're looking for. As I was explaining to him, we don't carry those shirts in 4X or 5XL.
"Oh, I'm sure you do. Now, I need you to go get them for me."
"Ma'am, we don't carry those, we only carry up to 3XL.
"Then I need you to order them for me. This really shouldn't be this difficult for you, you know? My husband and I would like to buy your shirts, and you should have the sizes your customers request."
"No ma'am, these shirts are not made in 4X or 5X. It's not just that we don't carry your size."
"Okay, I'm going to explain this slowly again. You don't seem to get it. I need 4XL and 5XL to fit me and my husband." At this point, I'm trying to restrain the rage building inside me like this woman restrains basic human decency and dietary regulation. "Yes ma'am, I understand what you're looking for, but we don't have it." "Can I talk to someone who isn't slow?"
"Unfortunately, no ma'am. We exclusively employ slow people." Can I help you find something else? The woman starts giving over to anger instead of her holier-than-thou attitude. Alright, listen here. I'm getting annoyed with you. Give me my shirts or let me speak to your manager. We do not carry your size, ma'am.
Now that is just rude. How dare you discriminate against my weight? Where is your manager?
At this point, the old man reaches out and plucks his phone from my hand. He's heard the whole conversation, because the woman had been screaming in my ear basically the entire time. He briefly tells her that he's coming back to the house and they'll have to find something else, then shuts the phone. I'm sorry about that, son. She gets like that sometimes. I'm sorry if I've caused you any trouble. She seemed like a real treat. She always treat her family like that? Oh no, I'm not family. I'm her gardener. Oh. Yeah, and I'm done. Next time she wants to buy a shirt, she can roll her own fat butt down here and get it herself. He walked out of the store as I laughed like a loon. My manager got a call that afternoon from the lady and told her exactly what happened. She eventually filed a complaint with corporate about fat discrimination and was told to special order the darn shirts. I never saw the old man again, but God bless him. I hope he's somewhere her shrill voice will never reach him again. If you've ever been into a university bookstore, you'll know exactly what this guy's talking about. It's filled with everything. Board games, merchandise, just about everything except for the actual textbook, because it's all sold out, of course. If she was ending up trying to sue for discrimination, something tells me that was her whole goal in the first place. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This story was called "A Lady Tries to Scam Our Store." This story takes place a couple of summers ago when I was hired for a seasonal support position at a department store. During the new employee training period, new support hires would shadow a few different departments before being assigned to one. On this particular day, I was shadowing for our customer service desk. The customer service desk was a catch-all from everything from problems to praise, to returns to bathroom directions. It was my first day working one of the register lines by myself, rather than observing another employee. Understandably, it took some time to get the hang of things, and I asked the employee watching me questions every so often. It was in the middle of one of our rushes when the woman in question, we'll call her Annette, steps up to my register and puts a rather large shoebox on the counter. A quick description of her would be mid-50s, well-dressed with a designer purse, and a very heavy French accent. The following conversation unfolds. Hi ma'am, how can I help you this afternoon?
I would like to return these pair of boots, but I'm not sure if they're from here or some other department store. My husband bought them for me as a birthday gift last month.
No problem, we can get this sorted out for you. Do you have a gift receipt with you?
No, I do not have one.
Our store allows returns with no receipt, as we have other ways of determining if a product was purchased from us. I proceeded to examine the shoebox and shoes pretty closely in order to see if I could find a barcode. It's important to know that our store has a system where you get an additional unique barcode sticker on the item tag or box that can be scanned by employees to pull up your purchase. I found one, so I scanned it. An error message popped up on my computer screen that indicated that the purchase couldn't be pulled up, which usually means the code was never scanned. This happens very rarely if there is a glitch in the system, so it wasn't immediately a huge red flag. I'm sorry, it looks like the barcode sticker on the box isn't working. Do you or your husband have a credit card or account with us? I can look that up in the system and it will show me your recent purchases. She proceeded to give me her husband's store credit card, which I swiped. I scrolled through the last couple months of purchases, and these boots were nowhere in sight. I decided to scan the actual product barcode on the box on our online website, as I suspected at this point we didn't even carry that brand, let alone that particular shoe. I don't happen to see the item in his purchases. You said earlier that the shoes could have been purchased at another department store, right?
Well, I am very sure that these shoes are from here. My husband does not shop at other department stores that often.
I apologize again, but I can't seem to find them in our system. What I can suggest to you is that you take them to the other department store, here in the mall, and check with them. If you have any further issues, you can always come back here and we'll try to work something out. She began to protest.
But I have returned things here before without a receipt. I have this sticker, which means it must be from here.
Ma'am, I will be happy to return them for you, but I'm suggesting that you check with the other department store, because if it is from there, you can get the money back on the original choice of tender, rather than a gift card. There was more complaining about how she didn't mind a gift card and how she was sure it was one of our products. That evolved into,
maybe it isn't from your main store, maybe one of the clearance outlets. That's why the sticker is not working.
I had to explain to her that our main stores and clearance outlets have access to the same system, so it would still be in the purchase history. Eventually, she gathered up her box of shoes and left the store, very unhappy. After she was gone, I took my break. During my break, the employee who'd been watching me to make sure I followed company protocol told me that I did the right thing. Apparently, that woman was on file with our loss prevention team. She comes in once every few months and tries to return something without a receipt. That, and often it isn't a product from our actual store. She must know the regular staff, and so, being a new face, was a perfect target. I worked the rest of my shift that day, and she didn't come back with the boots, so I assume she gave up. To this day, I'm still pretty sure she must have gone up to one of the unmanned cash wraps and taken one of the unused barcode stickers off the roll next to the register. After training was over, I was assigned to a different department and didn't have to do nearly as much customer service. Thank goodness. This story was called "You Aren't Old Enough for This Chew." I work at a small grocery store in a medium-sized city. Not exactly an everybody knows everybody town, but I recognize most people who come in. About a year ago, a younger guy, about 18 or 19, comes in with his friends from high school, which is pretty normal because the high school is a short walk away. They look around for a while and then his friends walk out. He then comes to my lane and asks for 3 cans of chew tobacco. In my town, you have to be 21 to purchase tobacco, so I already knew he wasn't old enough. He thought otherwise. Did you find everything you were looking for today?
Yes, thank you. I just need these 3 cans here.
Okay, I'll need to check your ID.
Why?
Well, you have to be 21 to purchase tobacco. You don't look 21, but I want to check just in case.
That's dumb. I'll just go somewhere else.
With that, he walks out, and I think that's the end of it. Later that night, however, he came back with his friends again. It was now around 10 PM, so the express lane was the only one open. Unfortunately for him, I was the one running it. Welcome back. Did you find everything you needed?
Yeah, I'm good. By the way, I just looked a while ago. You only have to be 18 to get tobacco here.
I'm sorry, you must be mistaken. That is a city law. We are in the city limits. You have to be 21.
Oh, come on. Can't you cut me some slack?
Or some kind of slang I can't remember. He's starting to look really agitated now and begins fidgeting with his car keys. I get the idea that no was probably a foreign word to him. We have a bit of a back and forth that I don't quite remember, before finally his friends come in too. Upon seeing me talking with him, they quickly turned tail. You're not buying this stuff for you then, are you?
I mean, yeah. Pretty much everybody at high school chews.
I don't. None of my friends do either.
Well, you guys are stupid.
By this point, a sizable line of people was waiting to check out, so he was looking even more aggravated. He said he wouldn't leave until he got his chew. My manager noticed this and came to see what the problem was.
What's going on?
He's trying to buy chew for him and his friends, but he's not old enough. Now he won't leave.
I see. Sir, is that true? Oh, I guess. Then get out.
He took it like a slap to the face, and I think my manager and I wish he had been a little less blunt. The kid exploded. He started fuming and raging about how since he was 18, he should be able to buy whatever he wanted. He started yelling at me for stopping him from exercising his rights, then ran out the door. He never came back. Look, I can get the frustration that maybe if he was from a different state and in their state 18 is fine. I'd agree it's a bit ridiculous that in some places that's okay, in other places it isn't, just based on like what the majority of people think is okay or not. But the reality is the people who are in the store serving you can't change that, and if they serve you, well then they're the one who are going to get threats made against them by the state. So it's not really their fault. If you'd like your story to be narrated by me, don't forget to visit the subreddit r/VoiceyHere, link below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.
Can I talk to someone who isn't slow?